Phantom Thread was directed by Paul Thomas Anderson and stars Daniel Day-Lewis in his supposedly final role, and I am clearly not in my normal set. I'm actually in LA right now with my wife. We, for the very first time ever, received an invite to the Critics' Choice Awards, which is happening tomorrow, and we're going to get to go to that, which is kind of nuts. I've been trying to become a member of the Broadcast Film Critics Association for many years. I've actually been emailing them for 2 years. And I finally got a bit of a response. And on Thanksgiving Day last year, actually, I found out that I was officially approved, which was a really awesome Thanksgiving present. And that means I get to go to the Critics' Choice Awards every year, which is really cool. And so that's why I'm here in LA. We're doing that. And since I was here, I was like, I got to see Phantom Thread because that hasn't opened yet in Ohio. And I really wanted to see it. And I got to see it in 70 millimeter, which is even cooler. And this film is about a meticulous dressmaker in 1950s London, played by Daniel Day-Lewis, who meets a woman named Alma, who becomes at first his muse, eventually his lover, and problems eventually arise because Daniel Day-Lewis's character, Reynolds, is a very serious artist. I wouldn't really say he views himself as a fashion designer. He probably views himself more like an artist. He will sit with his notepad in the mornings and try to create dress ideas, and if you chew your food improperly, or make too much noise, or speak to him when he doesn't want to be spoken to, or in any way disrupt his routine, his entire day is lost. So this creates a lot of difficulty for Alma because she wants to be loved in the same way that she's loving him. She feels like she would love to take care of him and be there for him whenever he would need her, but he doesn't need her that much, or at least he doesn't act like he does. He's the type of artist that needs human interaction, just like all artists do. We all need to connect and feel like we're going back and forth with someone else about ideas, and that's one of the best ways to create when you're in a mood like that, no matter what your art is. If you're a painter, a sculptor, a filmmaker, a writer, going back and forth with other people about your ideas or their ideas can be really creatively inspiring. But Reynolds doesn't like to admit that he needs that. And so he likes to have people situated in his life like they're a chessboard of sorts. Like, you go there, and that's where you belong, and this person here belongs there, and as long as you move in the way that I know you always move, I'm going to be satisfied. That's the way he views life, which creates a lot of problems for them in their relationship. Phantom Thread is a movie that some will consider boring because nothing really happens. There's very few large sequences where you feel like something huge is happening. As usual, Daniel Day-Lewis is incredible in this movie. Saying that he's great in a movie is kind of like saying a Studio Ghibli film has amazing animation. No shit. But he really does disappear behind all of his characters. You recognize that it's him because he's famous, but there is no Daniel Day-Lewis performance where you're like, yeah, that's him, because he just disappears. You can look at some of even Robert De Niro's performances and be like, all right, he's being De Niro. You can't really do that with Daniel Day-Lewis. That's why he's so terrific and one of the best actors ever. But since the film is slow moving, I can understand why anyone would think the film is boring. There are some really great sequences. One of my favorites, when a woman who is very wealthy, who has put a lot of money into the house that Day-Lewis lives in, she wants a dress made for her. She is not the type of woman in his mind that he would prefer to make a dress for. She gets drunk a lot. She doesn't have a very good reputation. And one of the best scenes of the film is when he has to sit at this party and watch her get drunk and stumble around in his dress, and you can just tell that he is seething with anger because this art that he's created for her that she is wearing, she's tarnishing it. And it's one of the better sequences in the film. Now, towards the end of the movie, a character makes a choice to sort of accept something. And it's going to work for some, and it's going to not work for some. This is the type of decision that a great filmmaker will make. Great filmmakers like Paul Thomas Anderson, they take risks. They have something in their movie that is a gamble, where it could go both ways. And I'm not entirely sure if it worked for me. There are legitimate seeds planted leading up to this choice. And in retrospect, you look back and you think about his life, his past, particularly with his mother, who he speaks of a lot, and you start to think maybe this makes a little bit of sense. but it didn't 100% work for me because I didn't really feel like character-wise it was justified. It did feel kind of out of left field. Besides that, I was mostly riveted by this movie because of the incredible work from both Daniel Day-Lewis and the actress who portrays Alma, who I believe her last name is pronounced Krieps, Vicky Krieps. I'm not entirely sure how to pronounce her last name, but she was marvelous as well. And it's just filled with amazing performances, and it's a very piercing look at the way an artist with a very straightforward, narrow mentality has a difficult time accepting others into his life and the toll that it takes on those around him that do care about him. I'm going to give Phantom Thread a B+. Guys, thank you so much as always for watching. I really appreciate it. And thank you for continuing to support my endeavors over the years through film and the various things I've tried to do. It really honestly means a lot to me. The fact that I get to go to the Critics' Choice Awards tomorrow is kind of crazy to me because for a long time I would just look on the computer or on my phone at events like that and think that's never going to be something I'm going to be able to go to. And it's just kind of nuts that I'm going to be able to go to this awesome ceremony that I've heard about for years, and I get to bring my wife and we're invited, and it just feels awesome. And I owe that to you guys for watching and supporting me over all these years. So thank you so much, guys. If you like this, you can click right here and get Stuckmanized.